There are many armchair naturopaths. What's the armchair naturopath? They sit in an armchair and they've got a thing on their computer that tells them what herb to give you for this. It's actually not much different in many cases to the doctor. When you go to the doctor, he's got something on his computer which is what drug to give you. There are some excellent naturopaths. There are some excellent doctors. And if you want a good plumber, you've got to search out a good one, don't you? Same with the other areas. Exactly the same with the other areas. So back to this lady. So she sat in front of me. She said, I'm so frustrated. I don't know what to do and how many are such. In page 127 of the Ministry of Healing, she says, the only hope of better things is the education of people in the right principles. That's why I do what I do. She said, I don't know what to do. And so as I listened to her, as I looked at her history, because the history reveals a lot, and when I looked at her symptoms, she definitely had a hormonal imbalance. And Psalm 104 verse 14, the Bible says God gave herbs for the service of man. I love that verse, because herbs come into your body, whether it by mouth, whether it by skin. They come into your body and they say, where would you like me? What would you like me to do? They're there to serve you. Whereas drugs, you know what they're like? They're like robots. Get out of my way, I've got a job to do, whether you need it or not. And in page 127 of the Ministry of Healing, she says, let the physicians teach the people that restorative power lies not in drugs, but in nature. That's common sense, isn't it? An orthopaedic surgeon said to me one day, we can set a bone, but we can't heal a bone. That's true, isn't it? It's the body and the body alone that heals when it's given the right conditions. So she had a major hormonal imbalance. The good news is the Mexican wild yam, when it's applied to the skin, the fat cells take it up and it's able to little by little bring back the balance. So I had a solution there. I said to her, you have all the symptoms of a gluten intolerance. What are some of the symptoms? Well, how long's a piece of string, we say in Australia? Well, it can be an inch long or it can be yards long. She had brain fog, she had bloating. They're two very common symptoms, and there's a whole lot more, which we'll probably touch on as we go through this week. And I said, you're not digesting well. She said, I know I'm not digesting well. So I said, well, cream to balance the hormones, eliminate the gluten, which is quite easy today, there's so many alternatives, and some herbs that'll boost digestion. I said, I reckon we'll be on the right track. She said, well, I feel like jumping up and kissing you. And yet, how simple is that? It's not rocket science, is it? And this lady lost weight. Not in 1 week, but as she began to implement these simple principles, little by little, the weight came down.